Hello, y'all. Christian White back with another Listening to Learn, where the hope is. Through the sharing of stories, we come to some solutions on how to deal with problems we face every day from people who have lived experience. I am God. Peace. A pleasure, a pleasure, a pleasure, a pleasure.
Absolutely.
My first question for you is,
What's that?
how did you grow up? What was it like?
I grew up, mother, father running, he's doing his own thing, in and out of jails doing his thing. Actually, yeah, most of my life he been in. Grew up with my mother, with my grandmother, lived with my grandmother, Glendale, 63 Glendale, still there. House on the corner, everybody know it. In a church, not getting everything I wanted as a kid, but I had a decent childhood.
What was the
outside play?
What was the environment like?
It was crazy because my grandmother kept us sheltered. Like, if you didn't walk around the corner and see something, you didn't know what was going on. But with me,
even
brother,
with everything going on,
that's what they provided. Her and my aunts and things like that. That's what they made sure they did.
Got it.
Keeping us away from things, or we in the backyard, and we had enough toys and things to stay occupied where we didn't have to look across the street. Got it. But came a point in time where we out there, meeting people, going to school. It was elementary, people, different hoods started earlier. So you meet people not really knowing what they're really about, what they really getting into as a child. But then the more you see it, then the movies started coming out, the Juices and the Menace to Society. So you start connecting the dots. You actually see what's going on. And then it's because I was sheltered so much to an extent. Once I seen it and I was able to grasp it, I went full on.
So let me ask, why full on with street culture versus anything else at that time that you may have known about? Why full throttle in that level? I was to give you a story in middle school, when I caught my first case, basically. And how old are you around now?
Right now I'm 30. I just turned 38.
No. In
middle school,
yeah,
I was,
time.
What's that, 12?
Okay.
How old are you in middle school? 12, 13?
Yeah, that's about right, yep.
Little shy kid, whatever. But my brother, he wasn't in the streets, but he came out the house earlier. So he's around people that's more involved.
Yes.
So he's 2 years older than me, so I'm in 6th grade, he's in the 8th. He's about to go to high school. So his people is all older, and I'm only chilling with him. That's my big brother, and I'm chilling with my big brother's friends. So like I said, seeing a lot and having a little attitude problem and feeling like I got something to show and prove. And then realizing that I'm good at that part. I can fight a little bit. I'm a little bit stronger than everybody else, a little bit faster than everybody else. So it just came into play. Like I said, I caught the case at 12, fighting, kicking somebody downstairs and almost doing them horrible. Like, that was just my mindset. Like, if I'm gonna do it, I gotta do it all the way, or they're gonna laugh at me, or they're not gonna say something, or they might try to wrestle me or beat me up if they're bigger than me, and I don't wanna go through that. So I'm gonna beat up anybody that's around my age, my size, my caliber, and we're gonna do it that way. So
did this kind of way you're living continue on, or did it kind of stop out at middle school?
Because it became expected. Now you're expected to be the fighter.
Expected by whom?
Anybody that witnessed, seen that I started being involved with, because now it's, all right, now you're fighting. Now you're crossing over to the other side, catching cases and things like that. So now the company that I'm keeping ain't the ones that just want to play with G.I. Joes. Now it's the ones that sneaking little knives. Look what I got. We sneaking to go smoke a cigarette before school and pull a fire alarm and run just to do, like, we
And this is all 12, 13
Yeah, right. Middle school. You was going to the Grove of Cleveland. Those was my cases. I got caught for pull. They came to the school actually because they got us on camera. We did it every day. That was our ritual. One of us, or it was three of us, but one of us would come up with a cigarette. So we'd have a cigarette from our mothers. We was just little so-called badasses. We'd smoke a cigarette, get dizzy from that, run right. We was on going to the Grove of Cleveland. I forget the name of that back street. Like Adams Street off of that. Mm-hmm. Pull the little fire alarm right there, run through the little cut to school. And like the third day, fourth day, they was waiting at the school for us. So it's little dumb things like that, catching cases just to, you know, the more dumb things you do, and the more you get laughed at and accepted, the dumber things you do.
So
I was one of those ones.
Totally understood. So have you been to jail before?
Yes. My first bid was 16. Did a year, 18 months in South Bay. Got out from there. Then it was just ongoing. Actually, I had juvenile time, like a year. But then from the South Bay, it's just been ongoing until collecting myself. Collectively, it's about 13 years, and I did 3 years from 2003 to 06, and then I did 5 years from 2010 to 2009 to 2015.
Was the 5 years upstate?
The 3 and the 5 years.
The 3 and the 5. Yep. So let me ask, when you were upstate, what was it like in terms of you're going upstate for the first time, you're trying to, I guess, establish yourself or settle in, I guess. What was the time like? What was some of the messages you got from people around you? What was some things that prison absolutely changed in your life?
It let me know that I gotta depend on me at the end of the day. If whoever's doing whatever they doing, if I don't want to be part of it, then you ain't gonna be part of nothing. If you ride with it or you do your own thing. You're on the outside. If you don't got that support on the outside, you gotta find ways to do your own thing. And it just changes, it puts you in a whole different perspective. Like at any point in time, once you do enough time, it's hard not to be in a mind state of, I've been in a freaking closet for fucking years. What the fuck else could you do to me? There's nothing that you could do to me that's going to be a consequence. That's the worst. The only thing else I could be in it is in a box.
So why not take that thinking and say, well, fuck it. I'm going to do whatever I want because I know that I can handle that. Why still choose to do better even when that option's available? If
I know that that's the end result at the end of the day besides dying, and I know that I'm willing to take that step, I think it's more cautious on the other person to think about that. Why ain't I going this route? I don't want to, but if I have to, it'll be nothing because I already lived that. It's not going to be a snap shock to me. The first time it was, the second time it was, the third time it was like, all right, we did this. You don't want to do it again. My last bid was the hardest one because I was just trying to be all right. And it was like, all right.
It talk about that for, I think a lot of people in that situation agree with you. Can you just explain that a little bit?
It was, all right, my last bid, I got argument. It was a argument going bad. Me and my lady at the time, whatever, had an argument. Whatever, people called to the house. Gun was found. Mm-hmm. Get locked up for the gun. And it's like, all right, at the time I just started the tattoo business, or I just started doing the tattoo thing hard. I'm establishing that good clientele. I was doing that. I wasn't doing anything but tattooing. That's like 2006. Like from 2006 to 2009, that was my life. So I grabbed something for protection wise. Ain't trying to get robbed, but you know, I'm not out in the streets with, I'm not in the hoods with, I'm chilling. So get bagged with it. And it's the time when I'm trying to really live. So when I'm in there, it's like, damn, I don't really want to associate with nobody that's just reckless.
Yeah.
Most of my business, I was chilling with the older heads anyways. People that I could probably learn something from.
Did you learn something from them?
Yeah,
Tell me some of the things you learned from the older brothers.
That I am a god.
And when you say that, what is the mentality that you have now versus the mentality you had prior to becoming or actualizing?
Is, like I said, knowing myself. Knowing my triggers, knowing what I should and shouldn't do. Elevation of why I shouldn't do things.
And how the transition from, I guess, that reckless sort of mind state, how did that transition into you saying what you're saying now? What did that process look like for somebody
knowing that can't nobody control me? Everything that I did, I can't say that it was your fault. Everything that I did, it was my own actions. I'm the controller of everything that's going on around me. If I want it to change, I'm gonna change it. If I don't, I'm gonna be all right with it. But at the end of the day, if I want this to happen, if I want to be the better myself, I have to be the better myself. I can't look for nobody else to do that.
When did you realize that you had a personal choice in everything?
I always realized that, but I always had the I don't give a fuck attitude. That was all. Even younger, getting in trouble and things like that. You're gonna get in trouble for this. All right, I'm gonna do it anyway. I remember there's a time I called myself running away because we had bedtimes. It was like if you was 8 years old, you had to go to bed at 8 o'clock. 9 years old, 9 o'clock.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
That's actually interesting. Okay.
So I was the youngest. I was 8. My man Frag, Boss City Peace, he was like a couple of months older than me, so he got to go to bed at 8:30, but we was watching Cosby's, right? So another episode wanted to come on, and I had to go to bed. Now I'm not, so I don't want to do that. I'm the only one. I call myself running away. I ain't running away. I went to the back of my grandmother's yard, climbed the tree, and I sat there. Watched them run around the house for hours, knowing that I'm going to get tore up. I'm going to go in there in a minute. And, all right, I'm ready to get in trouble now. Let me get down and go in there. Why? Because I wanted to do what I wanted to do and see if I could prove a point.
Which was what?
I'm going to do it anyways. Watch this. Now you're going to get with me. And
you know what I often, it doesn't surprise me. It's very normal, but it's interesting because I hear you talk and I'm just like, this is what a kid's supposed to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think what always bothers me is that when kids are doing what kids are supposed to do within a particular neighborhood, it's looked at as much different kind of behavior or what they feel like you're being prepared for a life of. But it just amazes me how so many kids are just being kids,
right.
Being kids with the tools they have from the things that they see every day.
Mm-hmm. Now a lot of them are, but there's a fine line between you being just being a kid and you just, acting out. Mm-hmm. I got children now, and I be, gotta gauge and catch them.
How old are your children?
3, and 2. They
Okay.
Just 2 birthdays, Saturday and Sunday.
Do you like being a dad?
I love it. That's the best thing ever.
What did you know a dad to be growing up?
What did I know?
Yeah, what was your concept of a dad growing up? What did a dad stand for? What would you define a dad as when you were younger?
Bill Cosby, Huxtable father. Like that image. Didn't have it, but that image.
What was the image that you were getting from your real dad?
He wasn't really around. I didn't really meet my father until I was 19, 20. Like I said, he had extensive bitch.
Mm-hmm.
If you've been upstate for a long time, from 70s, 80s on, like you did LT Fields, rest in peace. He did 10 years, he did the 15 years, he did another 11 years. So he had time under his belt before we met. And then when we finally did meet and get together and chips was thrown off the shoulder and braces was accepted, I ended up getting a 3-year bid with him. That was my 3-year sentence.
What was it like being in the same prison as your dad?
Oh, it was horrible.
Why?
I grew to be somewhat, like I said, comfortable there. Accepting certain things, people there, I'm familiar with people and back and forth. So it's the familiarity. All right, we're gonna work out, this is the routine, we back to the same routine. It's not nothing foreign, but it's still not nothing that I ever want to do again. And like with him not being in me and my brother's lives, and all 3 of us locked up in the same fucking jail at the same time.
Oh wow, 3 of you. Wow.
Him and his 2 sons. And that's what was looked at. And I got tired of hearing that shit. Like, that was a bother. Like, yeah, they go LT and his 2 sons. Like, yeah, where's your brother and your pops? They where they at. They doing them. And me and my brother's trying to keep our minds out of the place, and he's more focused on, all right, we all together. Let's build, let's bond, and yeah.
So was he trying to build a family while in there?
Trying to, but trying to, at the end of the day, hold on to his old, I guess, street image. That, because he had some type of reputation. He was trying to hold on to that got washed up from the time that he's locked up, and you know. So it's like, all right, you trying to hold on to that. We trying to get to know you now. Like, that don't matter. We ain't even on that no more. Like, cause me and my brother, we was never really like street hard gang banging individuals. We're respectable. We do whatever was necessary, but that's not, we don't care about that. Street rep don't mean nothing. That can only go so far.
So like I hear you talk about your dad, and I think what kind of sticks out for me is it's almost like when you say he kind of wanted to keep the reputation, but at the same time make efforts to being a dad. I mean, I tend to go ahead.
I want to say be a dad to just say he's a dad. Because that's, when he first came home, that's we got into a physical altercation. Because he said, yeah, your daddy's home now. Your father's, no, what? How
old were you when he said that?
I was like 17, 18. Like, what, who are you talking to? Don't talk to your father. Like, excuse me? You bitch ass nigga. I don't even know you.
Yeah.
Don't you talk to me like that. And at the same time, I'm still back and forth of not being in the streets, but
yeah, you could clearly hurt him if you wanted to.
If I wanted to, like, and it's, let's not go that route. I'm not a tough guy, but I fight very well, and I've been wanting to fight you for years. So let's not do that. If we gonna start, if you want to talk about daddy's home, we gonna start all the way there when you should have been daddy. In my vision of you when I was 3-4 years old, busting my mother's ass. So if you want to talk, we should start fighting right now.
So what is obviously you're a drastically different father than your father was.
Absolutely.
Why was it important to break that generational cycle?
Because it's to have a father in the home that's hands-on, with a decent mind, that knows exactly where he's going to go and where life should be going, is imperative. I didn't have my first child until I was 35. Not just because I was locked up incarcerated, but because I refused to just have a child by anybody that's just going to have me going through the ring of seeing my child and playing that game. And it happened when I first came home. The same thing I didn't want to happen ended up happening, but ended up getting corrected because I got custody of my son now.
When you say it didn't happen the way you wanted it to, what do you feel like didn't connect in that moment to make it happen?
I came home with the aspect of I get this job on the road because everything fell through. I was trying to do the halfway house type thing, but the Quincy Bridge fell through, so that halfway house fell through. So everything that I was lined up to do on my release all fell through. So I came home to no assistance, no nothing.
And these things fell through, I assume, because you were putting in the work and planning for these steps before you came home.
Yeah, the whole wrap up kit. What are you gonna do? Where you gonna go? All right, I don't really got support and things like that. All right, what's going on with the halfway house? That's gonna help you get into the transitional house. That's gonna help you get into the apartments and the spans and whatever, all them other downtown area ex-con services that they supposed to have, all fell through. Yeah, everything's down. So I fuck the government. You think I need y'all? Watch this. Within 5 months, I had an apartment. I went out of apartment, I had a room, working, making decent money, had a car, license, all that, within months of being out. After this, y'all ain't gonna give me nothing. And I ain't going backwards. All right, fuck everybody, watch what I'm doing. And I was just building. Like I said, I was on my elevation. I can't go backwards. I know what I know now. If I go backwards, I'm stupid to myself. If I don't do something to get myself in a decent position to at least be founded, I'm stupid. What did I just waste that last 5 years for? Chilling and reading and learning and figuring myself out for. And if this mathematics and this structure that I started learning and building with, the 5% knowledge and things like that, if that's, because that started holding true to itself. So if I see that holding truth and I apply that to my everyday life, and everything that I'm doing now is coming around, because it's like, all right, when I fell off of all right, let me not do things for myself. Let me see what they're going to do for me. That's everything that fell through. Everything that I needed to do for myself that I did for myself. All right, the last 2 days, 3 days. All right, let me call someone. Shit, ain't nothing I need like a week. I'm coming home in like 3 days. I need like a week. Oh, you got that? Come on. I've been hearing you talk and you've been writing the letters. I've been seeing you ain't the same, da da da. And come on.
So what is it you think is different between, I guess, the way you think, because we hear it all the time from dudes in the joint, I'm gonna get out, I'm gonna do this, and that, and I got it all mapped out, and I planned it. What is the difference? Because we know 95, probably more percent people.
It don't go like that.
Why not?
Because you're not in the actual world of where other things is happening and you're not taking into place what else could happen. You're in there. There's a whole lot of other things that's happening while you're out here. Everything within 6 months could change. So if you in there for 4 or 5,
if you were in
6
prison,
years,
let's say you were in prison for your 5 years,
right?
Could you literally plan out your days and more than likely do that?
In prison?
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, because you know that at this time they're gonna do this. Call the only time it's hard is if it's a freeze up.
Yes.
Other than that, then there's still a protocol for that. I know that when I'm in my spot, I'm gonna do this, and this comes on at this time, and I'm gonna read during this time, and they're gonna open this for this time. They gotta let me out on this time. So there's no. You gotta structure your own things around everything else. They have already a certain protocol of what's gonna happen, time frames.
Yeah.
Of what's going to happen.
That was actually one of the things I loved about prison.
Right.
Was the structure. I never had
at
that.
This time, this is happening. All right, now it is crazy because when it's like, all right, oh shit, I got to get my own food. I gotta go grab something to eat. Coming in is like, oh shit, yeah, I'm about to eat. Why am I hungry at this time? I just ate something, but why am I hungry now? Oh yeah, that's what, the last 5 years, this is the time we was eating.
So do you think like a lot of dudes and women are, I don't know, I think the way I'm thinking of it is they don't remain open once they get out to all the extra shit that could happen?
They come out without having that in their plans. So it's like when they come home, now they gotta, all that hits them now. The things that you didn't think of is all gonna hit you now.
And we know when you get shocked, you typically fall back on what you know.
You stand still for a minute.
You stand
still for a minute. Now you gotta regain and refocus. Then you gotta remember what steps you was doing. What was I doing for this one? Now, before I can't even do that one no more because I gotta do this part now.
So do you constantly talk to yourself?
Absolutely. This is every day is a bill. Every day is mathematics. Every day you gotta add on. Every day is something different. That's what we say. We live our mathematics. Today we were saying understand 30th, understanding the cipher, 3 and 0. Understand is a clear mental picture that your mind draws up from the combination of what you know and how you move, knowledge and wisdom.
So what do you do to kind of have your structure, your routine for your family, but at the same time, I guess, stay open and willing to allowing new ideas that could potentially benefit your family? How do you take that?
The focus is always elevation. Learn something at the end of the day to do something better tomorrow. Same thing for the babies. We there's no right or wrong way to teach, but you gotta just see what they're doing. Where are they going? All right, let's do that then.
So yeah, even at 3 and 4, 2 and 3, 2 and 3.
They're 2 and 3, 3 and 2. Yep.
So even at that young age, do you allow your children to express themselves the way you think they want to?
Yes.
Why is that important at that age?
It came from somewhere. I didn't. You are your own person. You don't understand that these are little people. They're children, but they're more advanced than you at that age. You're stuck where you're at right now. You already know what you know. They're learning what they're learning. They're figuring it out at that time.
So how do you balance letting them be open and disciplining?
Just understanding that, or letting them understand where there's that line. Where is that line? Like right now, my son is on the no thing, but he'll tell you why no, like why he's going to do whatever. He got fools. He's 3 years old. Like, look, first thing in the morning, look, go use the bathroom. I don't gotta use the bathroom right now, Daddy. I went to the bathroom last night. So you don't gotta use the bathroom at all? No, not right now. I'll go later. All right. And he's potty trained, so now I'm not gonna sit there and I'm getting to use it. No, you don't have to. You know when you gotta go now. So you gotta listen to him. He knows.
Now you can move on to something new to learn.
Now we're gonna do something else.
That's dope, because I know a lot of dads that have done time and, like, you know, they come home and some of them still kind of have that mentality where it's like, we're gonna run the household like the C over in the cell block.
No, I mean, because you ain't want. Why would you do something in your household that you didn't want done to you when you was there? Like, this ain't a prison. We're not gonna run it like a prison. You're free to do you. I want you to do you and just go. You got a whole room full of exploration and toys and jump off of. Go do that right there. Have your fun. I'll come watch you. But mine are inquisitive, babe. All right, now I'll go back for a minute. I'll go play in a second. Right now I want to learn. Can you put on the ABCs? Put on Elmo. I want to hear Elmo. They got specific songs and all types of other things that they listen to. All educational. All educational.
What do you feel as though can be done to slow down some of the violence in the streets?
It'll be hard, probably easier said than done. But dudes gotta get in the same area. You got a problem with whoever, what's your problem with him? Don't tell me, tell him what your problem is with him. You need some gloves? Need some boxing gloves? I put on the gloves. Y'all got y'all issue done, so y'all shouldn't be beefing no more. In the ideal world, act like a fucking man. Like I told my little cousin the other day, like because he's starting doing the street thing. Why? You had a good upbringing. The fuck is you doing this for? Because years ago, my man got killed and he is from this block, so now I was already around that area, so now the fuck then you just go wipe down and get busy for your man then? Why you gotta join the block? In my eyes, nigga, you joined these niggas because you didn't think you could do it by yourself. So you should have sat the fuck down. So now you in a position where you either gonna end up doing the same thing that I'm telling you to do right now because you're gonna shoot somebody, do something stupid, end up getting locked up and there's no guns in jail. So you're gonna have to fucking throw your meat hooks anyways. What are you gonna do? Do it now while you're out here and you can still live. Cause you doing life now and you gotta fight when you can fight for 5 minutes and live life.
So how do we, so I know for me, like I didn't have a concept of a dad or a man or a mentor or I guess anything that was showing me a healthier side of life. I didn't have that. So in some ways, you know, I don't hold myself accountable for not knowing something. Once I learn it, it's different, but
Absolutely.
Until then, you know, I feel kind of innocent, I guess. So if I approach, you know, a 15 to say 25-year-old young man or young woman whom is truly, I guess, possessed by that mind state, what is a way that I could possibly break the ice?
We've been there. You feel me? There's nothing that they could be doing that motherfuckers like we haven't done. You got, I seen your, you know what I'm saying? You got the track where you got a pass. I have a pass. There's nothing. I don't know about yourself, but I'm still in a position where it's like, nah, I am God. I'm not on. I'm not rugged. I'm not peace. This is me. Ain't you so? Yo, what's your name again? I am God. Man, they used to call you something. Yeah, they did, but this is what it is. But at the end of the day, it's being able to come down to their level of understanding. This is what you know.
As in, like, meeting them where
I'm gonna talk to you like you need to be talked to. I'm gonna move like you need to move. You're not gonna see me in a suit and tie. You're gonna see me in 90s gear. Because that's the era that gave it raw, gave it live, gave it effectful. So I'm gonna do the same thing, and how do you want to bring it? We can talk intellectually. We can get on that level because I'm a smart guy. I know a lot. I study every day. Talk about anything under the sun. We can have a decent conversation about it.
When you were young, at that 13 kind of age, when you were like, you know, I'm gonna just accept the consequences, but I still want to do what I want to do. When you were that age, even with how autonomous you were, did you still want guidance?
Absolutely. Because, like I said, it was crazy because, like, the things that I'm doing, I know I'm doing is wrong. But I'm doing it, one, for acceptance. I'm the little one. Don't got a lot of my own friends. So the ones that I do have around is, gotta keep them around. A lot of people like fighting, so I must stop fighting. So we gonna do this. And like I said, when I went to North Carolina, when I caught my first case, instead of the judge giving me jail time, he let me move to North Carolina with my aunt. She was a drill sergeant in Marines. So I stayed down there for 4 years. And down there is, damn, I don't know nobody here. My little cousins, they're 6, 7 years younger than me.
Yeah.
So I don't really got nobody to chill with, nobody to play with. So then everybody that's around there, that's like my aunt's gonna accept me to play with, is, in my eyes, nerds. I'm coming from the Wu-Tang gang, not gang banging, but baggy pants era. These dudes is tight shorts and above your kneecaps.
So at this point, your mind state is full-fledged.
Yeah, this is crazy. I don't like this. I can visit for a second, and I can act this part for a second, but this is country living. I don't do this. I don't. Then I had to just accept that part. But it was with the acceptance is like, all right, shit, this motherfucker, he's on that shit that they on in Boston. He talks different, but he's on that gangbanging shit. They had the Bloods, they had the Crips down there. But I wasn't on no gangbangs. I never wanted to join the gang, so I was shit.
Well, I actually think that's a good point, because I think people sometimes get caught up in assuming that gang mentality is the same as drug dealing mentality. It's the same as robbing mentality. It's street culture. These are all very different nooks and crannies.
They are.
Very, very different mind states go into these things.
They all come with certain risks, certain things like that. They all disguised under the same umbrella. But yeah.
Yeah, but we know it's very, very, very different dynamics involved and stuff like that.
And like I said, myself, I was always my own person. I do whatever to get acceptance. I was a shy one, so I want to get accepted, but I'm not going to just do what everybody else is. If y'all doing that over there, I'm going to do something crazy over here. Bring the attention to me. Come look at what I'm doing.
But either way, it's to outdo them.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And to let it be known. When I was young, like I said, I want to prove, I had something to prove. I got to be faster than you. I got to be stronger than you. If you say you faster than me, then you prove it, then I'm going to just watch what I do next week. I'll be at the house training. I'll do something. We're going to race again. Let's get this. And I beat you. Ha. Now I'm going to talk the biggest shit and make you want to fight me now. I just had that demeanor, like you can't beat me. I'm going to let it be known that you can't beat me. And
I'll be honest, I think that that's a good mind state. I think that that's healthy. I sometimes think we get a little misguided.
If you don't get it, let it get away from you.
Yeah.
Because that same mind state went from sports and little simple things and drawing and to, I bet you I could punch you. I can knock him out though. All right, you did that? Watch what I do. Listen to this story. Wait for you to hear this one. So it became a thing.
Tell me more about just being a dad and that transition from that whole mind state of anything goes at any moment to I need to be careful. I need to pay attention, because not only do I have people watching me I got to set an example for, but in so many ways we're vulnerable because of our past to so many things. If our name got caught up in something, if we always have to defend our names. Right.
Then I try to stay clear of being in a position where I have to defend my name. I don't deal with a lot of people where I should have to put anything on the line.
And that's choice.
That's my choice. Is I got babies. I can't.
Well, I mean, I know a lot of guys with babies,
right? But
and they're not thinking like you are.
Right. This is where my mind state is. Where once you become a parent, like your obligations and goes to them. Everything you want to do is out the window. If you can, you can. If you can't, you can't. But they're your obligation. Like I said, I waited a while to become a father. Not just because it was jail time and locked up. It was, no, we're going to do this right. I'm going to be in my child's life. We're going to do it the right way. I knew that. It was me being a big cousin and the uncles and, you know what I'm saying, to a whole lot of younger babies and things like that is, I'm going to call on. I'm going to eat. What? Oh, don't call cousin. Their fathers wasn't even that impactful. So it's like I know it's needed. Especially for mine. And when it came to like nation building and what is the quote they said? How do you predict the future? By creating it.
Yep.
I know that I want everybody to know what peace is. I want everybody to know their real history, their true origin. I want them to know what civilization is. And I want to start not just with the older heads, but with the babies. From them teaching their generation and the younger generation and the younger generation. So what's supposed to be happening in the aspect that was taken away from us is gonna regenerate itself. And I know that I'm only gonna be able to do that by starting with mine. Mine are gonna go get their friends and they're gonna teach, and this is what they're gonna know. Just like we was born in a Christian home.
Yeah.
And everybody know about Jesus. Everybody's gonna know that the black man is God. From my aspect, everybody gonna know peace. Everybody gonna know what the universe is. Everybody gonna know what mathematics is if it was up to me. Everybody's gonna know who Allah is. You feel me? It's just like everybody know who all these other people are that's prominent and beneficial, that should be named and mentioned. That's not household names and they're not mentioned. Protocols and cultures that we just lost and is just thrown out the window. We establishing those. We keeping that prominent. They're gonna know something. They're not gonna be just little people. They're gonna be people with minds. You're gonna establish young. You have a mind, use it.
I think that's a good point. I mean, that's what I practice with Christian anyway. Because I noticed, like, even within a lot of black and brown families, like, and in some ways, maybe I used to even think this way, but we tend not to preach to our kids to reach their highest potential, for the simple fact that, one, we weren't taught that, so we don't really know how to teach that. But at the same time, it was out of fear of what if we stand up against white people and try to push our voices when we were always taught we should be quiet and respectful. No, I think that's. I think
they're never gonna have that. That's not gonna be something that was taught. We breaking that Willie Lynch syndrome right now.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna see the male get broke over here. You're gonna be the highest point that you're gonna see. The most highest form of power that you're gonna see. We gonna do that.
Why do you love your community?
This is where we at. At the end of the day, this is home. And in so many aspects. There was the times when, like I said, growing up young, the bike riding through different neighborhoods, going from being able to go from Glendale Street all the way through the back streets and back cuts all the way to Quincy Street, all the way to the other side of down by Latin Academy. We young, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, being able to just venture off. Hide and go seeks, just different running through the cuts and all types of it was fun. It was home. It's community. This is where we're at. This is our people.
Yeah.
I love it because our people are here.
Yeah. Yo, it's so interesting. Like, yeah. I feel the exact same way, man. It's just something about, like, I guess where you're from, that's just, you want to see people elevate. And I mean, at least I know I do. Like,
I want better for everybody.
Better for everybody. And I started realizing, like, that's the win-win. Is when you want better for everybody. That's the win-win right there. Right there.
There's no point in I got the best and I'm doing all of this and everything around me is fucked up. So you got the biggest house, you got the nicest car, you're doing all of this, but everybody around you is not envious, but
yo, you know what's so funny is in prison, I read this story. It could have been in a hadith or something, but I read a story where a dude was he followed all of God's commandments, and he lived like in a little cave, but everybody lived in the mountainside. And the story goes, every day he would wake up, he would fulfill his duties, salat, all that, whatever, he would fulfill the 5 pillars. But he wasn't being the best example to the community because he shut them out from that particular knowledge. And they continued living how they were living in ignorance.
Right.
And the day of reckoning came. And I mean, I'm not religious, but it's a great story with a great point. the day of reckoning comes and God strikes him down and leaves the community alive.
Right.
Because one knew and didn't help, and then everyone else didn't know but wanted better, but didn't have the tools to do it. And he was like, and God allegedly says, like, look, like, yeah, you may have been doing this, and that, but you're missing the point. You're not spreading the culture.
Right.
You're missing the point on this. And it's for that reason that you got punished.
You wasn't dealing with it. That's what we do. You gotta deal with equality. You gotta deal with equality. At the end of the day, that's from what you just said. Not being religious or whatever else like that, but people take these books and things like that, and they put too much in it. That's basically what you just said. You're not dealing with equality. You got this and they got that, but you're not. It's not a balance. Everybody ain't on the same level.
Yes, that balance.
Or you're not even just giving them what you have, but it's giving them something to be able to reach what they need to be able to at least be on the level that they need. This
that
is everything
they need.
I could get everything that I need with this knowledge. If you holding that, you's a sucker. I'm not gonna let nobody get as much as I got, cause why? Why? You don't want nobody to be equal to you.
Yes.
You want to hold certain things to your fucking self. So use a certain type of sucker.
I can give you a real life example of that. So someone had reached out to me when I was doing the poster campaign, and they were like, you know, Chris, why don't you get that copywritten and branded? And then with the Listening to Learn series, because it had started back then, people were like, well, you need to get this branded. And I'm like, look, I want to be part of the cure. If this is a great idea to get community voices out here, I wish there were 10 of me in every section of the city. If that's playing a truly positive role, if hanging a poster that says if you go to jail, will the gang raise your child somehow get people to think, come up with your own slogan and go hang them shits up.
Right.
I'm doing it out of my own pocket. Go take the little extra you have if that's important to you and go do it. I don't care if somebody takes my concept or it got nothing to do with that, man. I really just want everybody. I want people to have a fair shot. I mean, even if I want to deal with a woman and we're trying to figure each other out, you know, if she has something from her past that I feel like could be seeping in or anything like that, my first thing is look, I'm willing to support you. You know, I mean, yeah, I get this takes time, but when it comes down to it, I just lost my train of thought. I started thinking way deeper, but it put me in a position where I just wanted people to give me a fair shot, and I want to make sure I'm doing everything I can to give others a fair shot. Because I felt like I had been deceived and lied to so much growing up that I feel a certain way when I feel like somebody's trying to rob me of my choice.
I don't let them. Like I said, I still got that fuck it mentality. But the difference is everything that I'm going to do, I know that I'm doing right.
Yes.
You feel me? So it's that same thing. I don't care what you say. Doing the music, I don't care if you like my music. He do. He said he want to hear that verse. He said, remember that verse that I spit before? He said he want to hear that, so I'm going to go record that. That's what we going. I don't care what the rest of y'all like. I'm doing this for the ones that do want to hear it or do. Was
it Bob Marley that said you can't please all the people all the time, but you can please some of the people some of the time, but not all the people all the time. Yeah.
Right, and that's where I'm at. I'm not for everybody. You feel me? I'm not for everybody. I got a certain mannerism. I got certain ways and actions. I got a certain knowledge base now that is I'm not for I'm for everybody, but everybody's not for me. I should say.
Yo, you know what I love listening to you, yo, is that to me it's clear that you found your lane.
And this is what it is.
Yeah, I have to be. Yo, I love that. Yo, when people find their role, that's the beginning of peace for me right there. Like
it's about all in the title. Who are you? I am God. I self-lowered a mask, an arm, leg on head.
What did they call you in the street?
It was on.
Okay. Now, is I Am God and On two very different mentalities?
No, they'll do the same thing. They're just going in different directions. Not that I wouldn't say two different mentalities.
I'm so glad you said that. I'll tell you why. Because people have this idea that somehow we fundamentally change as people.
No.
And we don't.
No.
I tell people all the time, I still think the exact same way that I did in the street or any other environment.
Right.
My energy's just expanded differently now.
What I'm going to do is
what am I going to do is going to be different.
I got to say, I got the babies fight. They doing their push-ups and little fight training, learn how to do they getting that understanding. Because I believe just everybody. I'm an aggressive person by nature, so that's always going to be on my mind. Like, but let me say, I don't gotta punch you in your face if I don't have to, and come to you at it in a different way that makes sense. And 9 times out of 10, it comes across like, oh, I ain't even know you was thinking that. Like,
yes,
I wouldn't even take you for that.
Yes, it's one of those when they come to me and they're like, Christian, you've done time in prison. You don't look like you've done time in. I totally understand.
I'll get the. You look like you did time. I wouldn't think that you were so deep with your thinking part. Like you know that.
Let me ask: are there intelligent brothers and sisters in prison?
Most of them that I've met are there. In prison, you got a lot of good dudes that made a bad move one day. You got engineers in there. If the things that you can see in prison, dudes is MacGyvers in
dudes
there.
Don't have no clue. Oh my God!
You're lighting cigarettes with batteries and wires.
With Brillo pad.
With Brillo pad. Like just the little things that say, how we gonna do this? How you gonna make an antenna? How you gonna make a speaker with styrofoam and a paper clip? Or like little things. What do you have that can make this better? And dudes did it. Dudes did it. So it's for me, it all comes down to that mind state. Like, it's all in the mind state. What are you willing to do now?
Yeah.
I refuse to fight in the hood. I refuse to die for one of these streets or a street name. But I will go fuck up a KKK member that come to Boston. I will go ride for the safety of the community. Like, I will do that part.
So let me ask, when you say that, are you implying that even if we have children, sometimes there are sacrifices?
Absolutely. If like I said, it all depends on what has to be done at the time. The queen of the lady, she knows she knows my role. I'm not supposed to be. It's good to be in the house, hands-on dad. That's the best thing, to make myself present every day, daily. But at any point in time, I gotta go defend what's on the other side of that door.
I'm gonna leave it right there. I'm gonna leave it right there. I'm really glad. I'm really glad that you said that. And what I think. So when I talk to brothers like us, the one thing that I'm grateful for is that we grew up with a particular kind of rebellious spirit, and we did not lose that. Right. We found ways to adjust it to apply to the worlds we live in personally, but we don't lose that. And I'm a firm believer in, like you said, there's inside the home and then there's outside of the home. Like, so for one of my protections for the neighborhood for Christian is by doing this sort of work. This is my way, one of my ways of fighting back.
Absolutely.
But yo, this was a pleasure, man. This was a pleasure. Thank you.
Peace.
Thank you.